All right. Well, it's time to be proudly South African. Do you know those things called the Dolos?
Those big concrete things on the foreshore, yeah.
So the Dolos in 19. I must get the date right.
It's a very South African word, that Dolos.
Yeah. We talk
Portuguese
about that.
by the sound of it. Yeah.
It was firstly my fact, and then we can talk about it. Well, the name Dolos is a bit weird because it's got a variety of possible meanings.
Okay, is it an acronym?
It eventually so it wasn't like they named it that thing. It was that thing was in use, but as a casual name for like a kid's toy.
Yeah, just for people who don't know, it's the T-shaped concrete
those
that
blocks.
They put them out on the edge
ocean.
of harbors and whatever to break up the waves.
Yeah,
to break up the energy of the waves.
And so Dolos, contraction of a couple of words, maybe dollen, which is Dutch for play, and os for ox, so play with the ox's hooves or bones or knuckles. That's what the kids used to do.
Okay.
Or also maybe dobble, because that means gamble. So like the doubling bones, throwing the bones. But then also Dolos was apparently the word used for the sangomas throwing the bones. So, but then there were those kids' toys as well, those funny shaped kids' toys, which were that same shape
jacks.
Jacks, exactly. But the Dolos, South African invention, was patented by a chap called Eric Merrifield from East London. That's my fact.
I think it's wonderful that East London is famous for something other than just falling into the sea, which is essentially what it's doing at the moment. Yeah.
Well, until the Dolos were thrown there.
Until exactly. I mean, but all right. Merrifield doesn't sound like a name that a person would make up if they were filled with lies. If you tell me, I'm just going to warn you now casually. If you're going to be like, no, his name wasn't Tom Merrifield or whatever it was Jack Merrifield.
No.
I'm going to get angry, right?
I understand. No, so my fact is the Dolos was patented by Eric Merrifield of East London, South Africa.
Okay. I believe you, Ryan. I'm falling into it wasn't Eric. It was Ernie Merrifield. And I've tricked you, and I'm going to take my point. And I will beat you. I will take you off camera, and I will beat you until you lie still on the floor.
Okay, sorry. So you're saying it's true?
I'm saying it's true.
This is so funny. It was never patented. So it was never patented. I usually write down the date. I don't know why I don't have the data. Hey, Deet, can we get the date of the Dolos?
But the date could be any time because it was never patented.
Normally but when was it invented?
Did he make no money from it? Is that what you said?
No. And there was controversy because there was two chaps, this Eric chap and a chap called Kruger. I don't know if Kruger was his first name or surname. And Kruger got crossed because by the 80s, it was like, actually, that was my invention, not yours. But the story goes that Eric did think of and the problem was the wave action. So he thought he like sawed a broom into 4 bits and stuck it together in an H shape, and then made the one thing bend that way, and then thought, aha. And the whole genius of it had to be cheap. It had to be something a shape that would just hook onto another shape and hook onto another shape and not move. Okay. Quite brilliant like that. And then he said, I've got this idea, and he gave it to the chap called Kruger to design. And then the Kruger chap said, well, there you go, there it is, voila. And it's like, well, brilliant. And but then 63, 1963 is when it was invented. And so there was controversy. They've both since passed away, so no one, apparently the story will go to its grave, so no one really knows. But apparently the one thought of it, the other one actually did it. And then, but the Shell gave a big fat award to Eric and not to the Kruger chap.
Kruger.
Maybe.
Most likely.
But now there's two stories, two narratives out there as to why it was never patented. And the one narrative from Eric is that he didn't want to. It was for the good of humanity. So it's been used all over the world to stop wave erosion or wave action. But then Kruger said, no, that's not the reason. The reason is more a legal one, because we did it during office hours, during working hours, working for the department of blah, 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 blah. So you couldn't have it as your own design when you're on company
you see, that
time.
makes more sense.
And so that is pretty fascinating. But it is a proudly South African story. I like.
Yeah, it's a typically South African story, is what it is.
It would be a nice story if it was for the good of humanity, because it is done a lot of good things all over the world.
I mean, it's sort of a bit like that, the Volvo story. You know, Volvo invented the seatbelt as they currently operate, those kind of jamming seatbelts.
Oh, really?
And then they gave the patent away to everybody to use because they were proving so effective at saving lives that Volvo was like, no, we can't keep this to ourselves. Everyone must put these in their cars.
Is that a true story?
Yeah, that's a true story.
Well, that is a beautiful story. Yeah, and but you need a lot of them. You need 10,000 for a mile of coastline.
Okay, so I mean, if you did have a patent on that,
Like,
the money would be stupid. It'd be a stupid amount of cash.